Greetings to everyone across entire Bharat and of course world over, all our brothers and sisters. Those are joining for this wonderful morning, afternoon and evening. We are back with you Monday evening, Human Library, and where basically we want to bring you the character building, the nation spirit, the national spirit, the nation feeling, the nation building, and how the youth, they shape, they reshape, they repackage, they rebuild, they refurbish, and they redesign everything in the humanity. It's the youth, youth, and youth. And that's what we are going to talk this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are world over, and particularly in the beautiful, sweet Bharat of ours. If you are across India, wherever you are joining from, we extend you a very warm welcome. Today, share maximum views, ask maximum questions, whatsoever comes to your mind. We will try and package as much as possible. Time is not the limit, but vision has to flow and it has to go down to the heart, to the spirit, to the vision of everybody. This is our country. We got to build this country. India got to reposition itself, and that is going to be possible when the younger generation, with lots of enthusiasm, creativity and innovation, they move forward. Last Monday, you all had requested, and there was a teaser which was given by Major General N.P. Singh ji, the Vishisht Seva Medal, Founder-Commandant of the Selection Center North at Kapurthala in the beautiful state of Punjab. Now, he had also been at other places. We will discuss in a little while. But today our focus is going to be Shaurya Yodhas. That is to know about more the SSB process, the SSB procedure, what are the modalities, what is the way by which you can get commission into the armed forces, paramilitary forces, how do you prepare yourself, what are the fine tips. And imagine this program is going live and it is on the YouTube. You can see it now, you can see it later, you can share with your friends, you can share with your well-wishers, and try and spread the fragrance as much as possible, because you got to believe in yourself that you matter. You are bindas. That's what has been given. And we will move on. It's our series of the Human Library, which we are taking further. International Chamber for Service Industry extends you a very warm welcome. It's a pleasure. This series started under the leadership of Lieutenant General K.J. Singh, VSM, AVSM and Bar veteran, ICSI chairperson, Human Library Vision. And it is his leadership all the time. I keep consulting him and we keep discussing and deliberating how to take the journey forward. And we commit to you, we promise to you, we will get you the best of the information and we will get you the best of the inputs and packaging, which otherwise you have to spend lots of money, lots of time. But now over here, we give everything free of cost. We are also thankful to Lieutenant General Iqbal Singh Singh. He had come with us. Lieutenant General Gurdarshan Singh Shergilji, he had come. General Ved Prakash Malik ji and former Chief of Army Staff and the First Lady, Mrs. Ranjana Malik, they were also with us. Thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, there was a lot of pressure. I was getting queries from the world over, oh, schools are reopening, colleges are reopening, institutes are reopening, but teachers are under stress, students are under stress, parents are under stress. What will happen when children will go back to the institutions? Oh, psychological pressures, and you have got environmental pressures. You have got something to think about. If my child falls sick or some other problem and all that, those inhibitions we have to remove, because if you're mentally strong, your body will follow the physical process. When you go to the gym, and I always remember my friend who was Michael Jordan's coach from USA, he used to tell me, he's fortunately Air Force officer's son, and he used to tell me, Gulshan, people spend so much of time in the gym on the body, even if they spend 1% time of that on their mental faculty, they can do wonders on this planet. We do not sharpen our mind. We just keep spending the time on our body. I think before we start today's session, each one of you must realize that you must spend time on your mind as well. Think positive, talk positive, live positive, be creative, be innovative, permutation, combination, packaging, repackaging, learn from all the sources wherever it is coming. Too much of information is coming from all directions. So we brought Colonel P. and S.S. Subramaniam, who gave the music therapy for the mental wellness. 26 beautiful songs, he gave the melodies. And thereafter, we had met Lieutenant General K.M. Seth, former Adjutant General and the former Governor of Tripura, Chhattisgarh, and Madhya Pradesh. And thereafter, if you remember, we met Major General N.P. Singh ji, the Vishisht Seva medal last week, last Monday. लेकिन हमारी कहानी अधूरी थी, हमको आगे चलना था और इन्होंने कुछ चीजें हमें बताई थी. So all the young boys and girls, you just understand, and my teacher for fraternity as well, I wish to share with all of you that this program is live on the YouTube. It's on the ICSI web portal. You can see any point of time, but I think in the history, you've got to go through once again all the documents. Has it ever happened that one person gets an opportunity to go as a president to number of selection boards, and he also becomes the founder of the Service Selection Center North, that's at Kapurthala, and Rupnagar, that's in Punjab. And of course, there are different service selection centers. He discussed with us last time, and he told us the training centers and institutes also. You can see it in your own time. There's a service selection board for the Air Force also, and you should see wonderful over here. And of course, you have got again the selection boards for Indian Navy. You can see it in your own time on the YouTube. Here is something very special, women empowerment, because without women, the nation cannot be built. When we think about 5 trillion economy, India can become 10 trillion, 15 trillion, 20 trillion, anything and everything is possible. The women got to be partner in every part and every walk of life. Can you see they walking in front of aircraft? And this side, the Naval Commission, that side, the Indian Army, they are everywhere and they are doing wonders. And we are proud of them because they are the ones, those are partner in building the entire country, entire nation. So all of us together, let's plan it out, let's work it out, and we should recognize and we should have an opportunities for the girls and the women in all walks of life. So ladies and gentlemen, the Shaurya Yodhas, SSB, when we talk about how to prepare for service selection board, how to go for it, the fine tips, how to get it, all that, irrespective of your gender, your age, and your type of entry, all has to be taken into consideration. General N.P. Singh ji will be discussing with you, and we extend a very warm welcome to each one of you today for another session with him, and which is coming live on the YouTube channel of ICSI. With these words, we extend a very warm welcome to Major General N.P. Singh, sir. All yours, world is yours, youth is yours, stage is yours, forum is yours, and people are yours. We want to learn. I'm also going to become a humble student, and I'll take the notes the best possible way. And ladies and gentlemen, today's webinar can change your life. It can change your destiny. It can change your future. It can shape your future. It can design your future. Think and grow. I won't call it rich. That's a Napoleon Hill book, but I'll say over here, think and make your career. Make your career with General N.P. Singh, sir. All yours, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. I'm indeed honored by this platform and this forum which you had. And it's a great honor for me to imbibe to this youth of our country all that we need to know about joining the armed forces and joining it to serve the nation, this beautiful nation of ours, this youth, which has so much of potential, that what inspires them to join the armed forces is the issue. What inspires us in our generations, in Dr. Gulshan's generation and my generation, options were limited. We could become an engineer, we could become a doctor, provided you had the brains. But if you had a combination of brains and brawns, then you'd either join the armed forces or the merchant navy, probably. नहीं तो कोई बाप दादे का धंधा हो तो उसको चल पड़ो, नहीं है तो खेती कर लो. That was all that we had. So there were these 3-4 options. But in today's world, the world is opened up, where the entire globe is just one small place, connected to us through the media, connected to us through flights. So we have to really think what inspires us for this armed forces. What inspires us, my friends, is that jigra which you need to have, that passion which you need to have for serving your beautiful country. And it all comes with the values which you imbibe right from your childhood upwards. Like Warren Buffett put it, join a profession not for money, but for your passion. And here is this profession of ours, this beautiful armed forces, the CAPF, and likewise, which gives you all that you require to deal with quality of life. You may have a lot of money, but there's no point having a lot of money if you can't enjoy it. There's no point having no quality and lots of quantity. Well, here in the armed forces today, we do get both quality and quantity. We are grateful to this great country of ours for all that we get. What inspired me was really my friends joining the National Defense Academy and my own Pushtani lineage, which goes back to 4 to 5 generations. And there was a time in my family where every male member was in the armed forces. So there I joined, but I must start with a small anecdote just to spark the issue. You know, I was 15 years old and we were in SP Marg in Delhi. Dad was also in the army. He was in a hurry to go to his office because there used to be a centralized bus which used to pick up all the officers and take them to army headquarters. So I had the transistor on, and this is one day before I went for my SSB. I was pretending to listen to the news, but it was disturbing my dad, who's in the next room. So he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Dad, I'm studying." So like a good old dad, he gave me one rap across my face. He said, "You're not studying, you're playing the fool." So I said, okay. That was lesson number 1. Few days prior to that, I said, "Dad, I'm going for my SSB. Can I get some guidance from one of these academies?" Minerva was the most famous that time, and there was another one called New Era in Chandigarh. So he used his choicest ones, like a good Punjabi father. And he says, "Just get lost, catch the train, go for your SSB to Bhopal. And if you're worth it, you will make it. But one point to remember is just be bindas." And that was the lesson of my life. You won't believe it. I went for my SSB, just bindas, absolutely my own natural self. My first attempt, 15 years of age, and I got through like a shot. Why? Because I was bindas, nirbhay, without any fears. Because friends, all of you who are listening to me, fear decides your level of success. Your fears decide your level of success. In the SSB, the president asked me, because I was looking like a small kid, though I was tall, but I was very thin and very lean. So he says, when did you last get a bashing from your father? I said, sir, just yesterday. And there I was narrating this incident, and he was in fits of laughter. And probably that what struck a chord with him, that this guy is honest and he's bindas. So I played this thing on ever after that. And I'm a confirmed believer, not to let any offline academies down, but I'm a firm believer that if you're your natural self, you should be the most inspired person when you reach SSB. Now, having said that, what goes on at the SSB is what I'm here to tell you all today. The tips and tricks. How should a young man, a young woman, irrespective of gender, how should he approach the SSB? And how should he maneuver that? It's all a game of maneuver. And my friends, it's all a game of the mind. If it's there in your mind that you have to get through, you will. So let me share a PowerPoint presentation with you to start with, to give you an insight very briefly about the SSB. So there we go. With your permission, sir.
Please, sir. All yours, sir. All yours, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to share the screen of the first presentation, which I'm going to give you today.
Wonderful. We can see it, sir.
That's great. So I'm going to give you a run through of this SSB. It's like a game of chess. And there we are. Let me unfold it for you. This, of course, you know all about me. It's just a brief insight. The only thing which I want to say here, my friends, is that experience teaches you a lot. Every face is a new personality. There is no duplicate. There's no duplicate of NP. There's no duplicate of Rajiv. There's no duplicate of anyone. So your persona shines at the SSB. And that's what we pick as assessors. Now the key issues. What are the key issues? Very broadly. Firstly, my friends, is the command of English. Why is English necessary? It's necessary because it's the universal language, not because the Britishers have given it to us and we have to adopt it. It is because India is so diverse. We can't have our SSB in Hindi. Then we'll be unfair to the people down south. We can't have it in Telugu. Then we'll be unfair to the major part of our country. So therefore, English is taken as the common understandable language. Now, the command of English is very important. Why? Because this is what gives you self-confidence, and which is one of the very, very important qualities for your success at the SSB. Guys, friends, girls, daughters, everyone, and parents listening, unless the aspirant cannot think in English and speak in English, he misses the boat. Unless he cannot think in English and write quickly, he misses the boat. What I'm meaning to say is, let's not start translating or thinking in Hindi, making sentences in the mind, and then trying to speak in English. The aspirant has lost it during stage 1 only, because everything is time bound. Everything is time bound. So this English is one of the biggest hurdles at SSB. There are such great, brilliant minds who come to SSB, but they can't converse. They can't write in English. And that's where they falter. And it's very sad. They have to get back at 1 o'clock that very day after stage 1. Next is your self-confidence and being yourself. The self-confidence. Apne aap mein bharosa. That is important. Just imagine if you're weak in English and you're into a group discussion, you will get suppressed because you'll find your friends over there rattling off great sentences in English, having a discussion in English, and you will be only looking at them. That is why command of English generates self-confidence. And the next issue is, of course, being yourself. Just be yourself. They don't want you to be a part of X, Y, and Z offline academies, which leave you confused. कि मैं अपना बनूं कि वो समझाया जो उसका बनूं. So just be yourself. And that's the biggest mantra which you can learn to be a success at the SSB. Your personal conduct and appeal. Your personal conduct, not only in your appearance, but also in your behavior. It starts the moment you get down at your railway station or the bus stand, you're picked up and you're taken for your documentation. Your SSB starts from there. People say the test, I say it starts from there. Why? Because it's your apsi meljol with your friends. Your hi, hello, which you do to them, the ice which you break, the confidence which you display to your friends. You'll find a guy over there, a person over there, very subdued, dara hua insan, and you'll find another guy who's very boisterous. You don't have to be a show-off, but at the same time, you have to be friendly, wear a smile, help out, cooperate, and it'll all come back to you during your tests. So gain that appeal. Social interactiveness. Of course, you have to be interactive. You cannot be an introvert because leadership is all about being interactive. And you are the raw material which is going to be put into the academy and getting out from the other side, well templated as a young officer. The last issue, my guys, my friends, is your physical fitness standards. While you prepare so hard, I've seen thousands of aspirants preparing very hard, but missing the wood from the trees. Why? Because your physical standard is not up to the mark. They say, na, Sharir swastha buddhi chetan, a sound mind and a healthy body. If you keep your body fit, the right things will click to you at the right time. And that's what happens in the SSB. So these are issues. These 5 issues which I've penned down for you are the key to your success. And of course, my every slide shows it, to be bindas. And you have to be bindas. Remember, my friends, you always have to be smarter than the people who hire you. You have to be thinking ahead. So be smart. Don't be cunning, but be smart. Be aware of what is going to happen next. And that will only happen if you have the awareness of what happens in the SSB. Now, various opportunities, young girls and boys, the youth of this country, to join the Indian Armed Forces. N number of opportunities. And this, what I've penned down for you, is not in a serial of 11. It is a mix of various combinations which you can achieve. A mix of various combinations. The National Defense Academy has opened up as a part of women empowerment to the young girls. Avail of that opportunity. Today we have only 19 vacancies, but due to organizational constraints, hats off to this government. the central government, which has opened it up. And hats off to the great minds of the Indian Armed Forces who have permitted it. I must tell you all about women empowerment. The first batch of the lady officers joined us, and a lady from there came. She joined as the education officer when I was the BM of an infantry brigade in Pathankot. People saw that young lady officer in those days with a lot of apprehension. But as time passed, it was so convincing that they perform as well as the others. Irrespective of gender, guys, it's just a matter of opportunities. Later on, when I was commanding my regiment in the field during Parakram, we had a lady officer come by. Of course, she was a doctor, but she performed equally well. When I was commanding my brigade in Budhal, Rajouri, we had an ASC officer who was the supply officer. Wonderful. So there's no doubt that the women in the armed forces do wonders. So the ladies, the girls listening to me and the parents listening to me, do motivate your child. Do get motivated and inspired to join this beautiful armed forces. Nothing is better than this. And like I said last time, if you can't become a lady army officer or a lady officer in the armed forces, then become the wife of one of them. It's equal empowerment to you. So that's it. Now, here what you see on the slide, guys, friends, is right from NDA, from the tender age of 16.5 years down to 42 years, you can become an officer in the armed forces. It's just what your education qualifications I've given to you. And also, when does the notification come out? You have to keep a track of it and follow the right path and make your choices. Another issue here, for all the aspirants from the armed forces, the Jawans, there are many ways for the soldier of the armed forces to become an officer. Many ways. You have the Army Cadet College. With 1.5 years of service as a Jawan, you are eligible to apply. How wonderful. You're eligible to apply, and that 1.5 years is what? It's including your training service. So there you are, the moment you become a Jawan and you report to a unit, 6 months later, you are eligible for the Army Cadet College, which is as good as the Indian Military Academy. Take that path. I honestly, in my guidance, which I give in the Shaurya Yodhas, I also tell many soldiers, I said, here is your opportunity. Here is your opportunity. And I also tell the soldiers that the easiest way to become an officer, and I tell the youth, join the Army Medical Corps and take that route and become an officer. That's the easiest way. It has the least competition as of now. After today, maybe it will be more revealing to people, but that's how it is. You have the TES entry, you have the IMA, you have the SSC, tech and non-tech for men and women, various ages, the NCC, the direct entry, the TGC, the UES, the AES, AEC. So a variety, the JAG. So what should inspire you? Is it the wanderlust? Is it the uniform? Is it the variety of jobs which you can do in the armed forces? There is so much which you can pick and choose. You may have joined the army, but you can also fly in the air. You may have joined the Navy, but you can also fly in the air. You may have joined the Air Force, but you can do a ground job. It's of all of good value. So kar ke to officer ban jata hai. So do it this way, because this is the right choice. and I maintain that. At the SSB, my friends, all assessment procedures and all tests for each and every type of entry is the same. It is the same test, whether you're going for the Territorial Army or you're going for the National Defense Academy. The tests are the same. The tests are the same if you're a male aspirant or a female aspirant. The tests are the same. The only difference which comes up is in the GTOs, where 2 to 3 individual obstacles. The lady is given the choice whether she wants to take the obstacle which the men do, or she can do it in a different way. That is clarified to them. And what I have seen in my experience, that the ladies also choose to do what the men do in the individual obstacles. So no worries, all tests are the same, whichever entry you may go for, it is just this. Now, various stages at the SSB. I put this up very briefly for you. You see, the first filter is when you're reporting at the SSB. The first filter. So hypothetically, you may be 400 of you reaching the SSB. Okay, now 400 of you reporting. Your documentation is done the moment you reach. After a cup of tea and you keep your luggage in the cloakroom. You're subjected to stage 1. That stage 1 is the tricky part of it. The 400 to 500 aspirants in stage 1 are subjected to an OIR test and thereafter a PPDT test. What is OIR? It's Officers Intelligence Rating Test. You're rated from 1 to 5. 1 is brilliant and 5 is the lowest category of intelligence. Now, after you've done that, you're straight away put into a picture perception test in the central examination hall. Depending on the seating capacity, it may be having a capacity of 200, maybe 250, maybe 150. So in shifts, you're put through the test of the picture perception. It's a black and white picture which is projected on the screen, 30 seconds to see it, and 4 minutes to write. After 30 seconds, that picture vanishes, and there you have to write a story within the next 4 minutes. That's the end of the central examination hall. Thereafter, by the time your batching is done into 15 to 20 candidates, and you're taken into the classrooms with your new chest numbers, you start doing the balance of the picture perception, narration, discussion test. Modalities of that we'll talk later. Now, this stage 1 has a filter as a combination of your OIR test and your PPDT. Large number of myths are generated here. Myths like OIR, how can they manage to correct 400 aspirants within about 20 to 30 minutes? Yes, it happens. It happens very much. There is a method in that. And it is corrected. And before you go into your classrooms, your OIR test result, your rank rating, your OIR 1 to 5 is there on a nominal roll against each person coming into that classroom. And then when you perform in your PPDT, it's a combination of your PPDT and your OIR, which decides whether you are going to have lunch at 1 o'clock and catch the train back or move into stage 2. So just imagine out of 400 odd, hypothetically, there are 40 to 60 aspirants who just pass the second filter and get into stage 2. So you have to be very proud of yourself that you've cleared stage 1, because that's a major, major hurdle, which many of friends, many of you find it extremely difficult to clear. No worries, friends. I tell you all the exact truthful way to go about it. That'll be much later. In stage 2, you have your interview, you have a psychology test and a GTO test, and then you go through the third filter, which is your conference procedure. In the conference, all the assessors get together and discuss you before you get inside the conference room. They have the last look at each aspirant, and there is an independent verdict of the interviewing officer, the psychologist, and the GTO. Independent verdict. There is no seniority here. And based on that, and based on a threshold level of marks, you get recommended or selected. And that on an average is just 4 to 6 aspirants. So from 400 to 4 to 6 is a great, great filter. Not too difficult, not to put the fear in you, but it is a great, great filter. Why do we do this? Why does the armed forces do this? We do it because we only want quality. We don't want quantity. It's not like the corporates filling in the blanks. Advertisement, the HR of a corporate organizes it and fills up those things as per the suitability which they feel. Here it's not that. Here we are selecting potential leaders. And we are in no hurry to fill our vacancies because we will not compromise with quality of the armed forces. That is why you find the Indian armed forces to be the best in the world and also the best in the country. The strongest pillar which exists today is the Indian armed forces. The ethos we follow is really marvelous. And the selection procedure, I had the fortune of doing a project when I was the president of 11 SSB at Allahabad to study the various procedures followed by various countries. It's an eye-opener. It's an eye-opener. And I must tell you, India and Pakistan are by and large 2 countries which follow the correct procedure to pick out the right man for the right job. Do you know how it happens in the United States? It happens by sponsorship by one of the member of parliaments. In the UK, it's done by a different modality altogether. You just have to walk into the war office. And there is a mild system by which you're selected and taken in. Why? Because the population is less, the aspirants to join the armed forces is less. But here in our country, luckily we have the material who wants to join the armed forces. And we are strict on the quality. Having said that, no worries, I will tell you the tips and tricks in times to come. The schedule, as you all know, it's been covered. You have it pan-India selection centers, there's a reception, opening address, and a documentation. On stage 1, like I've said, you have your intelligence test, picture perception, and your result. On day 2, you have your stage 2, in which you have your psychology test, those 4 tests, the thematic apperception test, the word assessment test, the situation reaction test, and the self-description. You also have, on the 3rd day, you have your GTOs, the 3rd and 4th day, the GTO tests. Those 9 tests are held in which the GTO ascertains what the aspirant is all about. And in between that, we have the interview scheduled for you. The last day is also important because all is not done till the paperwork is done, like they say. So on the conference day, you are judged, and then there's a closing address, and at 1 o'clock, the results are declassified, and you get the announcement of results. Now, managing these 5 days to be a winner is the issue. Managing these 5 days. How do you do this? You can't go upfront, you can't go bluntly. You have to have a method in managing this. What does the SSB search for? We all have heard of these so-called officer-like qualities. Friends, officer-like qualities are nothing but the human qualities, which, like I said earlier also in my previous discourse last week, I said, your dad has them, your mom has them, your sister has them, your brother has them, your gardener has them, your driver has them, the man on the street has them. But only thing is, the shades vary. The shades vary. And this we have to be aware, because being aware is most of the job which is done. See, this fabulous body of ours, has a head. These 15 human qualities are all enclosed in this body. This head of ours, chin upwards, has 4 qualities. It's effective intelligence. How do you use your intelligence to overcome a situation having the resources in hand? That is effective intelligence. If I ask you, how far away am I sitting from you in an interviewing officer's room? There'll be some wise aspirant who says, so sir, aapka to level bada high hai, mera level bada low. That's not what I'm asking him. I'm asking him, how far away are you from me? Take your time on it. So he look at the ceiling, he look at the floor, he look at the window, and by one way or the other, he will judge that the tiles on the floor are just 2 by 2. There are 4 tiles away. So 8 feet, sir, 8 to 10 feet. That's a smart answer. He looks at the ceiling, he sees those acoustic holes in the ceiling. That's also 2 by 2 tile. He says 4, 5, about 10 feet, sir. That's also a smart answer. Or he looks at the window. What is he doing? He's using the resources to overcome that situation. That is effective intelligence. Just for example, reasoning ability. How do you reason out? Weighing the pros and cons, the options you generate, and which is the best option you select based on your effective intelligence is your reasoning ability. Then is the organizing ability. How do you prioritize? Are you a haphazard guy, a knotted up guy, or are you a very systematic person? That's what we want to see. And of course, power of expression. It includes your body language, your facial expression, your eye contact, what you speak, how you behave. Everything is communicated. Verbally, non-verbally, vocally, non-vocally. Even the oofs and the grunts are a way of communication. Ouch! That's also communication. So this is how all comes from the mind. Then is the heart. The qualities of the heart. All of you have seen 3 Idiots mostly. This famous movie. So you pat your heart and say, all is well, all is well. अपने आप को भरोसा दिला रहे हो ना, all is well, all is well. These are the qualities of the heart. What is it? It is your adaptability to a situation, your social adaptability. How do you cooperate with your friends? That male jol, and your sense of responsibility, not towards yourself, also towards your parents, towards society, towards your siblings, towards your relatives, and everyone else. That is the qualities of the heart. Let's go lower into our body, the guts. You heard that famous saying, do you have the guts to do it? You also have heard, I've got a gut feeling, yaar, main is baar na bahut acha karke aunga. That gut feeling, what is it? There are 5 qualities in that, guys. Sab kuch aapke andar hai. The initiative you take, the initiative, that first step in an unknown direction and persevering to achieve results is initiative. How do you do it? You will only do it if you have the self-confidence. That's the next quality. Himmat-e marda, madad-e khuda. That's what it is. God helps those who help themselves. And that is self-confidence. Then you come to speed of decision. Ab pachtaye hot kya jab chidiya chug gayi khet. We all have heard that. No point crying over spilt milk. Speed of decision is, guys, the appropriateness and timeliness of the decision. How appropriately you decide and how timely you decide. You can't stand on a railway platform and, shall I board the train? Shall I catch the next one? Shall I board it? Shall I catch the next one? And the train leaves the platform. It's exactly like this. So you have to be quick in your thinking. The appropriateness and timeliness is what matters. That's the third quality. Ability to influence the group. How do you influence your group? Be it your 4 friends, 5 friends, be it your family members. Just an example. It's a bright and sunny and a lovely day. 2 of you want to go for a trek or a picnic, and 3 want to see a movie. How do you, as a part of the minority, convince the majority? Ki chodo yaar, picture to baad mein bhi dekh lenge. It's a beautiful day. Let's go for a trek. And all 5 of you go for the trek. That is your ability to influence the group. AIG in short. And then, of course, is your liveliness. Not buffoonery. Not buffoonery, but liveliness is zindadili. That taking on challenges with a smile. Koi baat nahi, ho jayega. We will do it. Friends, we can do it. Together we shall do it. That is liveliness. So that's the last quality of your guts. So having seen the head, the heart, the guts, now let's go down to the limbs. The limbs are the dynamic part of your body. So what dynamism do you have? What is that determination to persevere? That is it. That shiddat, that passion, that determination, what drives you? What is the courage which you have? Do you have the moral courage to speak up? Do you have the physical courage to approach a danger? So you have 2 types of courage, moral courage and physical courage. And this courage is a very, very dangerous quality. Because if you tell lies to the interviewing officer, it's taken as lack of courage. If you hesitate an obstacle during your GTOs, it's taken as lack of courage. And the moment this courage factor comes up, and there is a question mark which gets proven, it's thank you very much for you. Try again. So courage, we cannot compromise. And last, of course, is the stamina. That mental stamina, that physical stamina to carry on and on and on. And my friends, all these qualities from the head to the limbs are correlated because it is your body, it is your mind, it is you, how you react. So like we have this beautiful platform of the human library. It's the human brain which dictates all these qualities, which I play on and guide and mentor during my Shaurya Yodha's sessions, which I have. I'll be coming to that a little later. So these are the human qualities. I hate to call them officer-like qualities. Officer-like qualities to hain, but ye insaniyat ki qualities are there in each one of us. No matter which line you take, which profession you take, these qualities are universally applicable, my friends. So this is what we search for in the SSB. The 3 assessors, the interviewing officer by way of vacha, vachan, the psychologist by way of mansa, the mind, and the GTO by way of karma is what you perform. This forms a triangle. And all these 15 human qualities which are brought out are seen by the 3 assessors in their own, very much own technique, which each assessor respects the other one, respects his point of view, and you also agree to disagree. A combination of this, if you're seen as that good apple, you get recommended, but kahin apple mein daag ho or zyada hi daag ho, so you get not recommended. It's just like the analogy of the apple. I, as the interviewing officer, may find the apple bright and rosy. You turn it a little on the side, the psychologist will say, nahi, thoda dagi hai. You turn it totally behind, the GTO may say, it's perfect, but he may also say, nahi, piche se to gala hua hai. So it's a combination of these qualities through the various techniques which decide the success at the SSB. So you need to know each technique, the way the assessor thinks, so that you can play it that way. All search for the same qualities, but different techniques. That's what I've said. Now, there is a thing of dynamics of leadership. What I'm coming to later is military leadership. To convince the aspirant, to convince my friends who are watching me, to convince the parents that there's always a leader group and a situation. Anywhere and everywhere, there's a leader, there's a group and a situation. A leader, for enhancing his effectiveness, must relate his style of functioning with the nature of the situation and the characteristics of the group he commands. So you, my young friends, have to understand that when you go for your GTOs, sabka saath, sabka vikas. You have to remember that aapsi mel jol, because the weakest link in the chain is the strength of the chain. So a leader has to know the group, he has to know his friends, he has to understand the situation to perform and shine as a leader. And that's what we want in the armed forces also. Now, comparing leaders and managers, you may have come across it, you may not have. But just for your awareness, my friends, there's a difference between a leader and a manager. A leader administers, a manager implements. Jo hukum hazur, that is a manager. A leader originates, a manager copies. A leader develops, a manager maintains. A leader inspires trust by his knowledge of the group and the situation. A manager just about controls. A leader thinks beyond the horizon, thinks long term. कि ये करूंगा तो क्या होगा, ये करूंगा तो उसकी क्या implications. A manager thinks short term. He is target oriented. A leader asks what and why. What and why. The manager just plainly asks how and when. Kab tak karna hai. The leader always watches the horizon. Durandeshita, isi ko to bolte hain. Whereas the manager watches the bottom line. A leader is meant to challenge status quo. He is meant to challenge status quo. Why? Why this? Why not this? That's a leader. A manager accepts status quo. That is why these differences are coming up in leaderships in a corporate and in the armed forces. Choice is yours, friends. You want to be a leader or you want to be just about a manager? Leaders are their own people. They have a mind of their own, which you are required to have even at the SSB, and not just be a follower as a manager. Leaders do the right things, whereas a manager does things right. Subtle differences, guys, friends. Subtle differences, my friends, but this is what life is all about. It's for you to create it, to become that leader of the armed forces of tomorrow by being the correct raw material today. Now, how does it differ? Let's see that very quickly. A military leader starts functioning with his positional authority well defined to him, for him, as well as his group members. You go as a captain into the armed forces nowadays, or an equivalent rank in the Navy or the Air Force, you have instantly got people under you. Neither the problem to be solved or the goal to be achieved is chosen by a military leader, nor has he much say in the selection of his group members. These are two givens. They are two given aspects of the role of a leader in the military. A military leader, guys, is held primarily responsible for achievement of the goal. It's the military leader. That's why we cannot just accept anyone and everyone through the SSB to go into the academy. These are the reasons we see this raw material in you. And that's how we select good raw material for potential officers. Effective military leadership, therefore, hugely depends upon the leader's situational sensitivity. How sensitive is he to the situation? And how flexible is he in his style of function? In constantly changing military situations, my friends, the leader must keep acquiring new knowledge, new skills. We have to keep evolving, and a more appropriate attitude for mobilizing and directing the efforts of the group members for achieving the group goal. You have to do it in the SSB also. Now, the strengths of our selection system, it may appear theoretical to you, but it is very, very important that we are a very, very impartial. It's a clean and fair team of 3 assessors. Absolute confidentiality is maintained and approach doesn't work. कहते हैं ना पत्ती, कोई पत्ती है, कोई जानता है यार वहां पे. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. There is an anti-sifarish culture because this triangle is so beautiful. The moment one of the assessors gauges that the other assessor is trying to be slightly biased towards the candidate, you are sunk. So don't try this. Just be your natural self and go. The seniority of assessors. We are all in civilian clothes. No senior, no junior. And specially selected of high integrity. Just to tell you about the selection of assessors, my friends, it is based upon that assessor's SSB long time back. And that assessor during his SSB has to be recommended by all the 3 assessors which he has come across. And only then does he become an assessor through the DIPR to go into the SSB. It was a revelation to me many years later when I became an officer that go and check up your result from recruiting 6 in RK Puram in New Delhi. They have your records. You can check how you had performed at your SSB. So it is high integrity and it's that deep, the selection. The vacancies, we have more than 13,000 vacancies, last counted. But that's not a worry for us because we're only banking on quality. Touts, money and connections do not work here. They do not work, and don't try it. Your socio-economic background, due consideration is given, weightage is given to the weaker section. Why? Why? And weightage, I say, is because not for any other reason, but because of the opportunities a guy from a rural background may have got vis-a-vis an urban background. You cannot compare a guy of equal qualifications in his human qualities if he is from a remote area in Maharashtra or the Northeast vis-a-vis a guy from Delhi or Mumbai who's had all the opportunities. So therefore, we do this leveling out. Familiarity with the system. We separate the repeaters from the freshers. And every time, even if a repeater goes there, one who's come one too often. Every time is a new time because the assessors are new, the sets are new, the tests are new, the environment is new, and your friends who you're performing with are also new. And this is, be assured, this is guaranteed, and this never happens. In my tenure of close to 6 to 7 years at the SSB, in the 2 SSBs which I've been, and I've been the founder member, there is not a single instance where an assessor has come across a candidate who he had earlier assessed. So be cool, be bindas, ke har baar naya baar. Don't worry whether you're a repeater 5 times, 10 times. I have recommended a guy, an officer, a person, after 16 attempts, on the 16th attempt, this friend got through his SSB. You'll wonder why 16. Yes, he exhausted all his NDA, he exhausted his CDS, he went through the ACC, he couldn't make it in the ACC, he went for SCO commission through the army route. And he's an officer today, he's a major in the air defense. 16 times. The results is a unanimous decision. The assessors first time comes to know about the other 2. We do not discuss the performance of the other candidates. There is no time. Ki wo chest number 7 ka batana, chest number 2 ka batana. No. It is ethically incorrect and we do not do it. In my long tenures in the Services Selection Board, we do not discuss candidates except on the conference day. So that is what it is. That is the strength of the system. So guys, friends, be rest assured, it's a totally impartial system. जैसे हो आप वैसे ही दिखाई दोगे. But ये चीज याद रखना, like I said, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So demonstrate these qualities. Demonstrate these beautiful human qualities to the best of your ability and you will perform. Don't get corrupted or polluted by what you see on various YouTube channels. Honestly, I get put off by that. And that is the reason why, my friends, I am into this Shaurya Yodha's Institute. It's payback time for me. And that is why I give it to you in the truest form. And that is why I get the correct results. So this is what it is, guys. Dreams don't work unless you do. You can keep dreaming, but unless you do it, your dreams will not come into reality. So, like that famous Nike ad, just do it. Just do it. क्यों? क्योंकि जो जीता वही सिकंदर. And डर के आगे जीत है. So कूद पड़ो, work hard, and you will do well. Thank you. Score the basket like I'm showing it to you. Score it and go ahead. So this is, guys, this is what it is. I wanted to tell you on the basics of the SSP. There are a large number of myths which get generated. There are a large number of myths. I'm in full flow to tell you all what I can about this SSB procedure. The biggest myth is कि मेरा PPDT तो बड़ा अच्छा हुआ, but I don't know why I lost it in stage 1. You lost it, my friend, because you did not perform well in your OIR test. You know, you may think that यार ये क्या है, OIR test is just like an IQ test. मैंने तो BTech कर ली, मैंने ये कर लिया, मैंने वो कर लिया, तो ये क्या है? ये भी निकाल देंगे हम. It's not like that. The biggest disaster for you is if you do not get 90 to 95% in your OIR test. The key to that is to do all questions and to get 90 to 95 correct so that your rank rating or your rating in the OIR is 1 or 2. Even 3 doesn't work. And 4 and 5 is ille ille sapad ille. You go. So no matter how good you discuss, no matter how good English you speak, no matter how well you participated, no matter how well you narrated, no matter how well you perceived the picture, it's going to be of no use if your rating is 4 or 5. There's a method in this madness. There are 3 assessors sitting there, and each one is saying yes, no, or doubtful. So it's a combination of Y, N, and D, which makes you go into stage 2. And then the competition is so tight, as you said, from 400 to 40 to 60. So only 10% make it. You have to be in those 10%. So if there are 10 in your batch or 15 in your batch, just about 2 to 3 from that batch of your PPDT will be going into stage 2. So it's your OIR. Coming to your documentation, don't fill up your forms just for the heck of it. Your personal information questionnaire is your Janam Patri. It's a reflection of your entire life. Be it the ranking of your siblings, where do you stand? Are you the eldest? Are you the youngest? Are you the middle one? Are you twins? Do you have a stepsister? Where are your parents, dead, alive? At what age? They all show your qualities. You may say you've been playing 5 games, but if you're a 120 kg guy and height is just 5'9", you have to really prove yourself. It all shows in that form. If you're getting a salary, say 50,000 per month, and you're working somewhere, it's fine, it's damn good. But he'll ask you, how do you distribute that salary? How do you spend that salary? Do you send some money home? What do you do on your transportation, your accommodation? It shows your character, it shows your qualities. So we all judge it from there. And what does the interviewing officer do? He picks up questions from this PIQ form and then throws them at you during the interview. So this is the skill which you have to learn, which I guide you on. Now, the psychologist never sees you. He just sees you through those 4 tests and he gauges you. The biggest weapon he has is again this PIQ form. He sees the PIQ form, whether you're from rural background, urban background. If you've lost a parent, unfortunately, hypothetically, if you lost, what age? It may be 2 days back. He will see it. He'll say, wow, this guy's still come for his SSB. He's showing signs of depression, maafi galti. All that is seen. So guys, these are myths. Conference procedure. Don't think, oh, all is done, ab to kar liya sab kuch, ab kya hai? Nahi. Many times it's the conference procedure which sinks you. अच्छे recommend होते होते रह जाते हैं when you cannot give the correct response. It happens. So be careful on all this. There is no favoritism to an army officer's child or an air force officer's child or a naval officer's child. Don't think that you're a civilian's child. So वहां जाओगे तो आर्मी ऑफिसर का बच्चा जो आया है वो सिलेक्ट हो जाएगा, मैं रह जाऊंगा. No. It's all an equal playing field. Even if my daughter has to go for the SSB, she has to perform there. No sifarish. It is her performance. It is those qualities in her which will pick her up and get recommended or sink her. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry, friends. You have to perform at the individual in you. And parents, the biggest advice I can give you is, we all think our children are marvelous, but they are personalities in themselves. They have to perform. You may say, मेरा बच्चा बड़ा अच्छा था, पता नहीं SSB में गया, वो क्या करते हैं वहां पे, इतने नेगेटिव लोग हैं, है ना? Select ही नहीं हुआ, कितनी बार गया, इतना बढ़िया लड़का है. No, it's because he is not performing. So these sort of things. I must tell you that the weaker sections of society at times bring out the most brilliant raw material for selection as an officer. I have recommended one aspirant who was from the slums of Dharavi in Mumbai. He had 3 other siblings, and his mother used to literally wash utensils in people's houses, staying in a slum. This aspirant had done his BTech marvelously well. Of course, he repeated SSB 2-3 times, but when he came to us in the SSB, 11 SSB in Allahabad, he performed marvelously. So there is no cultural taboo. There is no religion taboo. We are so proud of the Indian Armed Forces that it is the most secular organization going on. We are taught that neither do we talk about religion and neither do we talk about politics. So it's a marvelous thing. I just want to put each one of you at ease that, friends, aisa kuch nahi hai. Just be yourself, be bindas, and you will be shining. So with that insight, now I will tell you about the Shaurya Yodha's Institute, which I run. Why have I gone in for this? What has struck a chord with me that I should do this sort of service is after these years and years of experience. And I dare say the years and years of hoodwinking which these academies do is a very, very sad state of affairs. All my friends listening to me, beware of these offline academies. I'm being very forthright, very upfront. I can prove it to you. And I prove it to you in the sense that if you are a parent or if you are a working self-employed aspirant seeking to join the armed forces, you will shug out 20,000 bucks. That's the minimum these people charge nowadays. 20,000 for 15 days. And in your batch, you will be about 40 to 60. It's a fact. You want me to name the academies? I can name them also. But I won't do that because I think it's against my ethos. But any and every academy has a batch of 40 to 60. 20,000, 15 days, 8 lakhs to 10 lakhs per batch. 40 to 60 aspirants taken in, subjected to a 15-day course. And what happens? What happens, my friends? They go in, they are subjected to the process and come out confused. Absolutely confused. So when you go for your SSB, you realize, I don't know, I've done this test or not done it, half-cocked. You are very happy that the rush has gone in and the rush has come out. And we're all qualified people now, qualified to go into the SSB. But when you go to the SSB, you really, really cannot perform because you're a confused personality. So my first trip is to detox everyone who joins me in the Shaurya Yodhas. I have been with a setup in Bangalore. They used to pay me very handsomely, but the aspirants were paying just a monthly subscription. And that huge setup, which is very famous now, is not concerned about the quality being imparted. Anyone can become an educator there. But what is the quality? Which is the educator is the issue. There are people who are 14 times fail, and they also call themselves educators. And I am also there as a qualified, responsible person of society, also they're giving. So I quit that because that doesn't work. I did not want the offline academies. I'm well capable of setting up my own. I didn't do that. I didn't join anyone. So therefore I said, let me do this service to our great country and this great nation of ours and this great set of youth which we have, to give them the right direction towards selection at SSB. And that is why I run my 35 days course, 32 to 35 days course in true earnest, and give them all that I can give them. All that I can give them by way of mentoring. I don't tamper with their personality, but I tell them the right way to do it. What is the assessor expecting from you? So friends, now I'll share a presentation which I have on the Shaurya Yodhas, and I'm sure you will be convinced that that is the only way to do it. I can challenge any person. If you can mentor a person in 15 days and give him the correct path for the SSB. No, you cannot. You cannot. It starts prior to your SSB. It starts with your documentation. It starts with each and every test. And it starts with certain amount of insight, which you have to give the candidate when he is subjected to the SSB. My schedule, I will share it with you now. I will share it with you now because I feel you all need to know. You all need to know how to go about it the right way for your successor at SSB. So there we go. Let me share the screen with you all. Here you are, guys, my friends. This is the Shaurya Yodha's SSB. That clenched fist is from where I come. This clenched fist shows the bindas nature of the SSB, and this clenched fist is also my alma mater, the Armored Corps. The yellow triangle you see are the three sides of the triangle, any which way you spin it, which comprises the IO, the GTO, and the Psych. And this is my emblem for the Shaurya Yodha's Academy or Institute, whatever you may call it. It is only online. And why is it only online, my friends? Is because the game of SSB, the performance at SSB is only in the mind. If I can play with your mind and tell you the right way to do it, everything else is achievable. The question coming to you all is, GTOs, kya karna hai? Nothing. Nothing you have to do. Because I tell you all what has to be done, and it is else is your physical fitness standards, which I tell you. More of it later. So you have to be a Shaurya Yodha. You have to be bindas. My tagline, like I said, from my childhood is be bindas. It gives you huge confidence. Be bindas in the right direction. Be bindas in the right direction. Intelligently bindas to respond to whatever is asked of you in the SSB. So I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. It's what you choose to become, my friends, you will become. It's not ke main muqaddar ka mara hua hu. No, it's not like that. It is what you want to become and you choose to become. That is what will make you the Shaurya Yodha. The Shaurya Yodha of this great country. The Shaurya Yodha of this great, great Indian Armed Forces. Now, my group interactive one-on-one total solutions course for the SSB is what I am here to present to you. Friends, I'm not marketing it. Don't misunderstand me. I am not marketing it. It's not a marketing venture by me. It is just to tell you all how to do it the right way. Just to tell all that. And that is why I only take 15 students in a batch, because 15 is the optimum number during the SSB also. Of course, the batch comprises of only 10 for the GTOs. I keep it 15 because that is the manageable number. I can give expert guidance to each every one-on-one, and provide them all the doubts, clarify all the doubts, and do it every day for 2 hours, except Sundays and Mondays, which are chill days, recap days, performance days, to clear the doubts and have my doubt clearing session. So here it is. This beautiful picture is of men in action. And when I mean men, irrespective of gender, is the soldiers in action. So ladies, women, girls, feel empowered. Here is your opportunity. Let's go ahead. Now, I do a stage 1 package. All told, my friends, in the entire 35 days, I run 29 tutorials, all recordings, all for you to understand. And it starts with getting started with your preparations for SSB. I remove your myths during your documentation and stage 1. One-on-one, you ask me questions. I'm seeing all 15 of you on the screen, and we perform. Thereafter, learning to skillfully communicate and the OLQs you need to display. How do you display them? Then what fails you in stage 1? That funda is taught to you. And thereafter, we have the OIR practical test. It's for 30 minutes, and you know for yourself your performance. Then on day 4, we have the PIQ form, how to fill it smartly, how to do impression management towards the assessor by filling it smartly without telling lies. How do you do that? I teach you that. And I also tell you what goes on in the mini conference after your PPDT and your OIR, and where you fail and where you succeed, and how to succeed. On day 5, we get on with the PPDT, the basics, and I then show you 4 pictures. And these pictures you're supposed to perceive, and any layman understands it. You see a rose plant, it has a stem, that is the background. The bud is what you're seeing. I call it the bud. That's the present situation. And the flower, which blossoms, is the future with the fragrance. If you conceive your picture like that, I give you that answer, those tricks, you will be able to win that situation. And then, of course, I teach you how to discuss, where to discuss, what to say, when to say. Then in the 9th one is the importance of PPDT for stage 1, and we have practicals after that. On day 7, I teach you the art of discussion, how to discuss in that machli market, that fish market, that open house discussion. We have it. And how do you penetrate that and make an impact? I teach you that. So the stage 1 package itself is face-to-face, group one-on-one, and I spent 7 days and 16 hours on this. The proof of the pudding lies in its eating. And anyone who's passed through me does get recommended with fabulous results. Remember, guys, the human brain is awesome. It functions 24 hours a day from the time you were born, and only stops when you take an exam or fall in love. तब जाके बुद्धि भ्रष्ट हो जाती है. So don't worry. This human brain is actually awesome. Just be bindas. Now coming to the psychology, and that's why I showed you that quote. Again, we have the psychology package. On day 8, the fundas, the fundamentals of the TAT. And then we have a set of 12 pictures, 30 seconds, 4 minutes, 30 seconds, 4 minutes. And mark my words, in the first practice, तीसरे चौथे TAT के बाद आपका धुआं निकल जाता है. And that's actually the trend. So I teach you how to write stories through all 11 with variety, and also the blank slide. What do you have to write in that? Then I give you a feedback on that. Because it takes me time to assess all the 15, there is an educator's assessment time and the aspirant's revision time. On day 10, we have a discussion on that TAT, which is a tremendous insight because it is one-on-one to all the candidates, all the aspirants who are there with me online. That's the beauty of online, guys. That's the beauty of this pandemic. The biggest payoff which this pandemic has given us is online education. And we have refined it to a great extent. Then we come to the WAT. Likewise, I tell you the fundas of WAT, the word assessment test. One word you write, it shows your quality. If love is the word and you are writing a long sentence, you only have 15 seconds to write it, my friend. So you better be short. That's what I teach you. And you better be correct. So you can write, love is a beautiful thing, blah, 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 and run out of time. Because that word will just be flashed for 15 seconds on the screen and there it goes. So you'll be having a backlog. But if you just write, love overcomes hate, it's a beautiful sentence. It reflects your quality. So these are small things which I tell you. Then we have a discussion on each of the VAT tests which we do. Then I go to the situation reaction test. My friends, you get a booklet of 60 situations which you have to do in 30 minutes. So what happens? You're only getting 30 seconds to think of a situation and react. That's what they call a situation reaction. I teach you how to respond. Reaction is from your subconscious self. I teach you how to do it from the conscious self, from the level of consciousness. It comes with practice, it's achievable, and it does. Then we have a discussion amongst the 15 of us and feedback on all the OLQs which have emerged. And you'll be surprised, my friends, your true character gets revealed to you. So you know where do you lack and where do you not. That's the beauty. You do your SWOT analysis, which is the next tutorial on day 17, and you can make out your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. There's a tutorial on that before that, and after that, we go ahead and practice. Then is a self-description. Out of the 4 tests, self-description is one test which you can actually prepare at home and bring it along, and just, of course, you can't fudge it, but you can memorize the self-description. What is it? What your parents think of you, what your siblings think of you, what your friends think of you, what your workplace thinks of you, what do you think of yourself? And finally, what do you want to become in the future? That is self-description. It comes out fabulously well, and this is what I guide you all. Then the doubt clearing session for 1 hour, because there is bound to be a build-up of doubts. Now we come into the interview package. The myths about the personal interview, then you're developing your OLQs through a daily routine. I teach you how you perform on a daily basis, and you get conscious of your routine, and you get conscious of your officer-like qualities, so to say. And I swear by the 10th day, you start evolving and get conscious of each and everything you do. Whether it's polishing your dad's shoes, or washing the car, or getting vegetables from the market for your mom, how do you do it is all a reflection of your qualities. So you get conscious of it, and that's exactly what you display in the SSB. And वही तो है, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So जो दिखाओगे वही होएगा ना. So all those 15 qualities, if you actually practice them on a daily basis, through the activities which you perform, I teach you how, and you can observe the shades you're reflecting in the SSB and come out as a winner. And you do. Then in the interview, linking your responses with your PIQ form. What you've written in your PIQ form, you must know that. You must be conscious of that and just amplify that. And that's the opportunity during the interview. Developing skills to answer questions logically. Listening is a great virtue. Listen to what the interviewing officer is saying. Does he have a hidden meaning to it? What exactly is he saying? Listen and then respond. I teach you that. And then, of course, is a dose of impression management towards the assessors. How do you impress your assessors? How would you show that? And of course, we have a lucky trip for the interviews, and we have 4 interviews after that. While one is interviewed, you're seeing me, you're seeing the assessor. You're seeing the assessor, you're seeing the assessee. That's you. And the other 14 are watching. कि उसने क्या पूछा और क्या जवाब दिया, and noting the qualities, and we discussed that. You get a set of 4 of those, and then finally we discuss each candidate, and there's a feedback. And doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani. You come to know your own self. That's the strength of the personal interview package. I spent 7 hours, 7 days, and 18 hours on this, on that interview, which may last 15 minutes, may last half an hour, may last 45 minutes at its best in the SSB. I teach you the dynamics of that. Now coming to the GTOs, Henry Ford's beautiful quote. If everyone is moving forward, then success takes care of itself. That's what it is. Even these ants are making this banana move. And likewise, in the GTOs, it is group tasking, your team spirit, which is seen, how you cooperate. Those qualities of the heart come out predominantly in the GTOs. The GTO packet, the myths about group testing, an insight into the GTO technique and the 9 tests. I give you all that. Then we go into the group discussion. We do a set 1 and a set 2. Current affairs and social topic, exactly the way the SSB is held. And you get a feedback. Each one gets a performance feedback on it. And you can ask, and I give you whatever you want to know. The lecturate, those 4 topics, which to pick, how to prepare, 3 minutes to speak, what to speak in those 3 minutes, 30 seconds for your brief introduction, 1 minute for the advantages of that topic, 45 seconds for the cons of that topic, and then summarize. It's that easy if you do it that way, and I teach you. And you get a feedback on it. Then your group planning exercise, which actually takes out the juice out of the aspirant. The methodology of the group planning exercise, the tips and tricks in that, the format to give the written answer, I teach you that. You stick to that, you come out as a winner. Because this group planning exercise is the hallmark of the GTO. All tests are important, but the GTO gets a tremendous insight into you through the group planning exercise. Because there is a narration, there is a discussion, there is a written, there's an oral, there's a retention. Everything in this is checked. Your individual obstacle test, the IO test. I teach you the methodology, the challenges in each of the tests, the route you should take. Of course, rest is your choice. I teach you that. Then the progressive group task, PGT, and the other GTO tests are again discussed. And finally, on the 35th day, any doubts, any clarifications on any test, anytime, anywhere is answered. And I close by giving the final verdict to each candidate, the positive verdict, and also a Thanksgiving. So this GTO package lasts for 10 days, 19 hours. And that's how you start from one end and end at the other. This cannot take place in 15 days in an offline academy. Sorry, this insight has to be drilled into each aspirant as per his personality. He must know his goods and his not so goods. And that's what happens. So this is that group interactive course. The packages are here for you to see. This is what I give you. There are various packages and it's all collective. Of course, I believe there are no free lunches. They should not be, because unless you pay a token amount, it doesn't work. I don't get into that, but this is what it is. Thank you, my friends. Be a Shaurya Yodha, be bindas. That's what I had to say about my Shaurya Yodhas. And this is all that there is in the Shaurya Yodhas. Come forward, come forward. Be a part of the system. Ask anything and everything which is of value to you, because there is no other profession better than the Indian Armed Forces. Even if I have 10 lives, I will still be this and this only. So proud to say that. So I hope, Dr. Gulshan, I have given you what I feel best about it. But this is what it is.
Lovely, lovely. No words to express my gratitude and thanks to you, sir. Few quick takeaways which people are asking me. Number one, is there any website of yours?
Yes, I have a website, but my direct communication is the best. You
Okay.
come to me on mobile.
Number one. Number two, is there any contact number you would like to leave which people can contact your staff or your people and they can reach over there? Is there any contact number, sir?
Yes, it is there. I've given it in the, it's there in the flyer, in the first flyer, but I can give it to you again.
Please.
It is 9467
9467
111 777.
111 777. For the benefit of all those who have written to me, it is 9467 111 777.
That's right.
And Academy, you are already aware of. Okay, so people have written to me. Is there any email correspondence address you would like to leave?
Yes.
Please, sir.
Email is SSB.
SSB.
Shaurya Yodhas.
Sir, please spell it out.
SHA.
Yes.
URYA.
Right, sir.
Yodhas. YODHAS.
Okay.
@gmail.com.
Okay, for the benefit of everybody, I'll just repeat it. It is SSB, which stands for Service Selection Board. SSB Shaurya Yodhas. I'll spell out. SSB is SSB Shaurya, SHAURYA, Yodhas, YODHAS @gmail.com. So you can get in touch with General Saab directly and we can take on the entire journey forward from there. And with these words, yeah, please go ahead, sir. You want to say something?
I just want to say one thing. You see, I just take a batch of 15.
Right.
Because my entire trip is only this, that I must guide those 15 aspirants to the best of my ability. And they must absorb everything 100%. That's why you see in my schedule, it is so comprehensive with about 30 tutorials, which I give, apart from test after test after test. And I don't move forward. I'm in no pressure for time. I may say 2 hours. It may last even more, depending on the doubts which they have. But my honest satisfaction which I get is that I have been able to convert an absolutely raw friend of mine into a recommended candidate at the SSB. Okay. And that is my biggest strength, my biggest satisfaction, the biggest source of a sound sleep which I have in the night is because of this.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let me recollect, reassure, repackage once again. You have got today the whole process, everything. This particular today's program is available on the YouTube of ICSI, International Chamber for Service Industry. You can go through the whole program yourself. You can see as many times as you want, and you can reach out 9467 111 777 or SSB Shaurya Yodhas @gmail.com directly. It would be a pleasure. Talk to them, discuss with. Now, Coming on to the second point, I must recollect for everybody. We are committed to help Northeast the best possible way. Whatever we can do, me and Jalal Saab, totally we have discussed,
Yes.
and we are committed as soldiers. We want our children to join armed forces, get into the commission. We would be very, very happy. 2022. 2022. Today is 4th of April. I'm going to share with you. During the subsequent months, our vision, our happiness would be by 31st of December 2022, if 100 young boys and girls from Northeast part of India, they get into the armed forces and they make their career with this beautiful, you may be with Army, Navy, Air Force, paramilitary, wherever you are, but you should be the part of the process. That's number one. Number two, today we have launched from our chamber a very big program. 125 girls have joined. It's a complimentary program. It's a free program. It's a learning how to learn. It's a WhatsApp program. You have not to meet anybody. You have not to go anywhere. You have not to spend a single rupee. 125 girls have joined today. It's a 1 month long program which we have taken on. It's a learning how to learn, and that is remarkable. Everything is being sent to people on WhatsApp, and finally they would be getting a complimentary certification also of their participation. It involves how to be a teacher. Like armed forces, it is also very important. We need good teachers. We need good educators. We need good trainers. We need good counselors. This is a complimentary free program from our chamber, what we have done.
Wonderful.
And it has started today. It is from 4th of April, which we are taking care of. And we are going for 1 month. Thereafter, we would decide after seeing the response, how it is. Similar way, for the Northeast, we will plan, we will discuss, we will work out something from our chamber, maybe about 10 scholarships we will give from our chamber for Major General N.P. Singh's Academy. We will work out, we will plan it out, how it is to be done. Children from Northeast, under the Women Empowerment Program, they will do the selection, they will work out the strategy, but we will take care of 10 girls from our chamber to be the part of Major General N.P. Singh's effort, Shaurya Yodha's Academy. With these words, once again, our deep gratitude and thanks to General N.P. Singh, sir. It was a pleasure to have you with us. Such a long session, 1 hour 43 minutes. So before signing off, once again, we thank everybody, and on our chamber's focus is basically Northeast India. I always say, because they are to be brought into the mainstream. They are to be strategically channelized. You must have come to know one of the lady today from Nagaland has joined Rajya Sabha member. So a lot of things are happening. I'm very, very happy. And with these words, while conveying our thanks to all the viewers, all the participants, do share this video maximum. Spread it in all your groups. Send it across to everybody. Let people know about it. Let people know what is existing. This country is beautiful. People are wonderful. And I, as a humble soldier, along with General N.P. Singh, sir, and Lieutenant General K.J. Singh, we are committed what best we can do for the country and particularly for our youth. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
For being a part, sir.
And may we stay a part of each other, and may we be able to contribute further and further.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Very, very